One of the most important things when it comes to changing your behavior, your habits, things like that, is actually tracking. When it comes to fitness, there's all kinds of different tracking methods, including wearables. I love wearables, but one of the downsides of wearing wearables is that they're not very stylish a lot of the time. Sometimes you want to track your activity levels throughout the day, but you gotta wear this not so fashionable wearable. The technology and the style is getting a lot better. Not a lot of these wearables are waterproof, and I like swimming. This is why I wanted to test out a fitness tracking ring by Motiv. What does it do? According to Motiv, they created a specific wearable to track your activity levels and active minutes. It's able to track the amount of steps that you take, the calories that you burn, and even your sleep. And it transmits all this information to your phone via Bluetooth. How does it all work? Well, on the inside it has an optical sensor that should be around the bottom of the ring, matching to the bottom of your finger, where it senses your heart rate in the capillaries. They also found a way to fit an accelerometer in it, which allows it to track your activity levels, including your steps and if you're walking or running. It can even track your mileage if it's synced up with your phone and using GPS. A little bit about the hardware of this thing. It's got a full titanium body with a finish of either slate gray or rose gold. And it's all packed in here into a casing that makes it 5 atmospheres waterproof. That's like over 160 feet. So for charging, it has a USB dongle that it magnetically attaches to. You just plug it into your computer or phone charging brick and it charges for about 90 minutes, and that gives it enough charge to last about 3 days. So the heart rate sensor is right in here, and this is where it magnetically attaches to charge. On the top, there's a little band, and this is where an LED light is. This LED light tells you when your phone is paired with the ring, and it also tells you when it's low on battery. So that's a breakdown of the hardware and the promises that we get from Motiv for this ring. Now on to the review. Alright, so when you first ordered the ring, it's $200, and they send you this ring sizing kit for you to figure out what size of ring that you wear. So this is kind of what it looks like. Alright, and they have all these different plastic rings for you to try on for different sizes, and you're supposed to wear it for a day to make sure you know what it's like to, you know, kind of go throughout your everyday with this ring on. Because this ring is actually a little bit thicker than the average ring. It's about like 2.5 millimeters in thickness. You know, so it's a little bit thicker than a regular ring. It's also a little bit wider than a regular ring. I wore it for about a day or two to figure out what size I wanted to wear for which fingers. Then I sent in a code that's right on this box, and a couple days later, they sent me my ring. Upon receiving my package for the ring, this is what it looks like, okay? I received the package. There's a little black box inside of it. You open it up and your ring comes on this little tray, all right? And then you lift it up and you have 2 chargers. So one I already showed you, this one I already showed you, and then there's another one. And a cool little addition, they give you a little keychain that magnetically attaches to it. So you can carry around your charger anywhere you go. On top of that, they give you this very little instruction tab. Doesn't really give you much information on how to use the software or anything. And then you have to download the app for your iPhone. Yes, this is for iPhone only right now. They say that later this year they'll come out with an Android, but you know, I'm not sure when. Alright, so in my review, when it comes to wearing this thing, I like wearing it. I like that it's a ring and I don't have to actually have like this big thing on my wrist. I don't have to have a dedicated tracker on my wrist. I can have a regular watch instead. So definitely get style points there. Charging it, you know, you charge it for 90 minutes and then it's good for, they say 3 to 5 days, but if you're really active and it's tracking a lot, it's gonna be about 2.5, 3. I think the big thing here is gonna be wear and tear. This ring, it's made of titanium, it has a titanium body, so it's very hard to beat up. However, the finish on it is not so strong, okay? I went to the gym for 1 day, just testing this ring out. I lifted weights in it, just free weights. I did a few pull-ups, and then I swam, and I already got a ton of scratches. They're purely cosmetic. There's nothing functionally wrong with the ring. In fact, if you are absolutely dedicated to this, and if you don't care about how it looks, I think that's fine. But if you do care about how it looks, I'm sorry, but the slate gray will scratch and it'll wear down to a silver titanium color underneath. I've even thought maybe you could use like a Dremel or something and peel off the rest of the slate gray coating just so that it looks like a silver. They should probably have that type of option. Unfortunately, while I was swimming, I got a scratch on the LED bar, so that's not really fixable cosmetically unless I were to get some sort of like polish. What I would say is keep in mind what type of activities you're trying to do with this when it comes to the aesthetics and making sure that it doesn't get beat up. It's good if you're a runner, a cyclist, a hiker, anything when you're not using your hands to lift a lot of stuff or press against the ground or move your hands across any sort of surfaces. It's not going to get beat up in that way. However, if you are lifting weights, if you're using bars at all, if you have to if you're swimming and you're putting your hand out to the wall, this is going to get scratched up. Another thing I noticed about it is when you're wearing it, it can be kind of uncomfortable to carry things. I carried some groceries and I kind of pushed against my finger in a weird way. It just made it really uncomfortable. I lifted some weights and it was a weird grip. Or like I did pull-ups and it was a weird grip. And the reason why I think is not just because it's thick, but because the ring is circular all the way around except for where that sensor is, and it's flat and it sticks in, so it sticks into your finger. One way to get around that is when you're doing that activity, you can rotate it. The sensor is kind of on the side or the top of your finger. That's just a workaround. I don't know if they could make it. I mean, it's already really small as it is, so I give them props for their engineering. One of the big reasons why I also got this was because I'm a swimmer and I wanted to be able to track my activity levels while I'm in the pool. And the problem that arose with the Motiv Ring is that same problem that you get with other activity track, in that it can't track your heart rate while you're swimming. I believe the reason is when water gets in between the sensor and your skin, the sensor cannot sense your heart rate very well. Outside of that, heart rate is pretty good. While I was swimming using this wearable, it kind of didn't really register that I was doing activity. I think the way that I'm swimming, the accelerometer wasn't really getting activated very much. So that's another problem in itself. You're going to have to input it into the app yourself, how many active minutes that you were swimming. So looking at it from the perspective of the app, you see that it tracks the active minutes. That's the thing that they really try to emphasize with the Motiv Ring, is tracking your active minutes, and they track it throughout the week. So if we were to take a look at a specific day, it'll track the specific activities that you did. So I walked for 10 minutes, and after you do it, it'll come up with this little card on the profile that will ask you if that was the correct activity or if you were active, and you can input what the activity was. You can even add, see, it's really simple. It's like, what activity did I do? You can look at the timeline. But then I played soccer, and it tells me how much I slept. In order to test the accuracy, I actually compared it to my Fitbit Charge HR, which is a Fitbit activity tracking watch. On specific days, the step count on the Motiv Ring was way lower than on the Fitbit, and as well as the calories. And I know Fitbit is known for having lower step counts than are accurate, so that may be something to look into. You know, it took my activity levels, I input everything. You know, I was active quite a bit that day. I got 16,000 steps. I did a lot of walking on this day. And the Motiv Ring only showed that I did 11,800 steps and burned 1,300 calories, which is ridiculous. Alright, so if I were to rate the Motiv fitness tracking ring on a scale of 1 to 5, for aesthetics, I would give it a 4. I think it looks really good. I think it's a really cool idea to be able to have it as a ring and keep it really small so that you don't have to wear this big watch around all the time. However, it does have that drawback in that it can get scratched. For usefulness as an activity tracker, I'm gonna give it a 3, and I'm thinking on the low end of the 3 because I think the software needs a lot of work. I think its ability to track your heart rate is really good. Its ability to track your steps isn't that great. It can't tell how many steps you're actually taking, but it can tell when you're being active. I think that's the important thing. Is I think the heart rate is more important than the accelerometer and getting the steps, but the step meter is so off compared to something like a Fitbit. I think they're going for an interesting approach in tracking active minutes, just trying to get people more active more often, but I don't see this thing as something that really encourages somebody to be more active, especially when it's not showing the correct numbers. From a software standpoint, I think the app has a little ways to go in its breakdowns of what it's tracking and what that means. I think it might benefit from some better design in showing visuals of how much activity you're doing. I think it's cool that it comes up with these little cards and asks you if you were active and what type of activity, but I don't think that the calculated calorie expenditure is actually accurate. Another con to the software is that it's only available for iPhone right now. So if you do not have an iPhone, which I'm pretty sure a lot of the quantified self people are more Android types, you're gonna have to wait, and that kind of sucks. I'm gonna give the Motiv app a 3 out of 5 there too. Overall, I'd probably give the Motiv fitness tracking ring a 3 out of 5. I know it's the first iteration of this ring. I know it's really the first of its kind that's been able to do what this ring does. However, it does have a long ways to go, so maybe looking forward to the future of the Motiv fitness tracking ring if they can make enough money to keep making these things. Thanks for watching my review of the Motiv fitness tracking ring. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give me a like and put a comment down below. If you're the type of person who is into peak performance, self-development, and quantified self, please subscribe to my channel and my social medias so that you can see more peak performance related content in the future. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace out.